The kettle clicks off. The water bubbles furiously inside the plastic jug. You step into your cold kitchen on a dark winter morning. Grabbing your favorite thick ceramic mug from the cupboard feels comforting. Dropping in a standard black tea bag is pure muscle memory. Next, reaching for that expensive glass jar of local raw honey sitting on the counter. Twisting off the sticky lid takes a little effort. Scooping out a massive, thick, golden, crystallized spoonful is deeply satisfying. Dropping that heavy spoon straight into the boiling water seems perfectly normal. Stirring it vigorously makes the metal clink sharply against the sides of the mug. Watching it dissolve into a comforting, steaming, sweet drink builds anticipation. Lifting it to your mouth to soothe your winter throat feels like a genuinely healthy choice. Stop right there. Look closely at what you are actually doing to your food. This exact, incredibly common kitchen habit is the biological equivalent of buying a priceless, centuries-old masterpiece painting just to use it as a dirty doormat to wipe your muddy boots. That boiling water just instantly killed every single living enzyme in your mug. Extreme heat completely destroyed every fragile antimicrobial peptide. A potent, natural pharmacy was just turned into nothing more than expensive dead sugar water. Big mistake. I know exactly why you do this. Raw honey is incredibly thick. Crystallizing naturally in the cold is exactly what pure nectar is supposed to do. Trying to stir it into cold or even lukewarm water creates horrible, stubborn clumps. Sinking straight to the bottom of the mug like a heavy stone is frustrating. Sticking stubbornly to the spoon makes a sticky mess of your morning. Hot water melts it fast. Dissolving those stubborn clumps in 2 seconds flat makes perfect logical kitchen sense. But it is an absolute biological disaster. Drinking clumpy cold honey is not the answer either. I'm not asking you to suffer through a gritty, unpleasant beverage. At the very end of this consultation, I will show you the exact physical emulsion workaround. This specific, highly unusual temperature technique melts thick, solid honey instantly without destroying a single delicate enzyme. Think about it. Before we fix the physical preparation, we must look closely at what that intense heat actually does to your living cells. Understanding this intricate biological mechanism changes how you view your morning routine forever. We absolutely must stop looking at this golden liquid as just a sweet, passive syrup. This golden liquid is a highly active, living biological matrix. Inside that specific jar, dedicated researchers have identified a brilliant, highly active antimicrobial protein called defensin-1. Picture defensin-1 as a dedicated team of microscopic bouncers patrolling your throat. They actively identify and kick out the harmful external bacteria that cause winter scratching and daily irritation. They are incredibly efficient. When consumed correctly, this living matrix supports your daily vitality and keeps your natural defenses sharply tuned. But these microscopic bouncers have one fatal weakness: extreme heat. Nature designed this beautiful substance to survive at the exact, precise temperature of a living beehive. That temperature is strictly maintained at exactly 35 degrees Celsius. Worker bees are absolute master thermoregulators. Fanning their wings in perfect unison cools the entire hive down if the brutal summer sun gets too hot. Vibrating their flight muscles generates intense, life-saving body heat if the winter air drops below freezing. Nature built this golden liquid to exist perfectly at human body temperature. It remains chemically stable only in that specific narrow window. Hitting it with 100-degree water straight from a boiling kettle snaps its delicate protein bonds entirely. Biochemists call this rapid structural collapse denaturation. Picture cracking a raw, clear egg into a smoking hot cast iron frying pan. The clear liquid turns solid instantly.
You cannot unfry an egg. The physical structure is permanently, irreversibly altered by the violent shock of the extreme heat. Boiling your raw honey means you can never bring those protective enzymes back to life. They're gone forever. It is a total waste. Paying top price for a premium health product only to completely strip away its biological value in 3 seconds makes no sense. Listen to me closely here, because this is where the vast majority of well-meaning people get it completely wrong. Put a plus in the comments if you have always believed boiling honey and lemon is the ultimate winter remedy, or a minus if you already knew about this hidden heat danger. So, boiling water instantly kills the protective bouncers in the honey, leaving you with dead syrup. But losing the positive benefits is only a tiny fraction of the actual problem. The real danger lurking in your morning mug is much darker. Heating honey triggers a hidden aggressive chemical reaction that actively burdens your liver. Baking it, microwaving it, or dropping it into boiling water causes a specific chemical compound to spike rapidly. This compound is called hydroxymethylfurfural. Traditional Ayurvedic medical practitioners have actually warned against this exact process for thousands of years. Calling heated honey ama translates directly to a heavy, toxic glue-like residue. The human body struggles desperately to process this sticky cellular waste.
Modern biochemistry now proves this ancient wisdom completely right. Hydroxymethylfurfural acts exactly like the dark exhaust fumes pouring from a heavy car engine. Breathing a tiny amount of exhaust in the open air is completely harmless to your lungs, but boiling your honey is like running that heavy engine inside a closed, unventilated garage. The fumes build up fast. Trapping these heated compounds forces your liver to work massive amounts of overtime just to clear out the heavy waste. Your liver is your body's primary essential filter. Working in specific delicate stages requires immense cellular energy. Your liver works incredibly hard all night long to clean your blood while you sleep. Waking up and immediately hitting it with burnt sugars ruins that overnight progress. Encountering these unnatural compounds forces the liver to create tiny sparks of inflammation just trying to break them down. Precious antioxidants are rapidly used up to neutralize this heated waste. This unnecessary process actively drains your daily energy before you even start your day. Consider a 58-year-old client I spoke with recently. Drinking boiling honey lemon water every single morning was his proudest, most consistent health habit. Doing this religiously for an entire winter was supposed to make him feel vibrant, protected, and strong. Instead, he felt constantly exhausted. Waking up with heavy eyes and deep brain fog became his daily normal. His joints felt unusually stiff, and his daily digestion slowed to an absolute miserable crawl. Actively exhausting his liver before he even ate breakfast was quietly destroying his quality of life. We stopped the boiling water immediately. Switching to the specific lukewarm emulsion method I will show you shortly changed everything. His natural energy returned in just 5 days. His liver finally caught a desperately needed break from filtering out heavy burnt sugars. Never do this. So, your liver's finally safe from those heavy exhaust fumes, but all this careful temperature control is completely destroyed if you make one fatal mistake with the second ingredient in your mug. People almost always squeeze fresh lemon juice into that exact same boiling water. Cutting a bright yellow lemon in half feels like a great start. Squeezing the sour juice over the honey and pouring the boiling water directly on top is standard practice. Fresh lemon juice is packed with brilliant natural vitamin C. Delivering this powerful antioxidant is one of the best things you can do for your body. It directly supports your white blood cells, acting like premium fuel for your immune system. Keeping your daily vitality high relies heavily on this exact vitamin, but vitamin C is a highly volatile, highly unstable molecule.
Being extremely sensitive to heat, light, and oxygen makes it very difficult to preserve. Dropping raw, fresh lemon juice into boiling water destroys the fragile vitamin structure instantly. The extreme heat simply oxidizes the ascorbic acid and breaks it apart completely. Think of oxidation like leaving a piece of bare iron out in the rain. It rusts and crumbles away. Mixing boiling water, raw honey, and fresh lemon destroys two powerful natural compounds at the exact same time. It makes absolutely no sense.
Paying good money for raw organic ingredients and getting zero biological return is incredibly frustrating. Drinking a hot cup of empty calories will not clear your brain fog. Adding your fresh lemon juice only when the water is entirely safe to touch is the only way. Rolling the lemon firmly on the kitchen counter first breaks the internal vesicles to yield maximum juice. Waiting for the water to cool protects the delicate ascorbic acid completely. Yes, protecting the lemon juice is vital. But even if you perfectly control the temperature of your water, a silent threat is actively destroying the honey while it is still sitting safely in the jar. Remember that strange emulsion workaround I promised you for the end of this consultation? It relies entirely on the honey remaining biologically stable inside your cupboard. Scooping your honey with a wet spoon straight from the washing up bowl is a massive mistake. Leaving the jar open on the counter near a steaming, boiling kettle is just as bad. Honey is intensely hygroscopic by nature. Acting exactly like a powerful biological sponge means it actively pulls moisture straight out of the surrounding air. Introducing even a single drop of water from a wet spoon fundamentally changes the delicate moisture content inside that glass jar. Raw honey naturally contains sleeping, dormant wild yeasts. Sleeping perfectly safely is possible only because the sugar concentration in the honey is far too high for them to survive. The intense osmotic pressure dehydrates the yeast cells, keeping them completely inactive. The sugar molecules literally hold all the water hostage, but adding that single drop of tap water ruins the balance. Lowering the sugar concentration in that specific tiny spot awakens those dormant natural yeasts. The golden liquid begins to ferment silently in your dark cupboard. Turning sour and developing a strange, slightly alcoholic smell happens over just a few weeks. Tiny bubbles form on the surface. Losing its stable antibacterial properties makes the product completely useless for your vitality. Consuming fermented, spoiled honey can cause terrible gas, uncomfortable bloating, and frustrating stomach upset.
A 60-year-old woman recently asked me why her premium honey tasted strangely tangy. She suffered from terrible afternoon bloating every single day. Leaving her jar open next to her stove while boiling pasta was all it took. The rising steam entered the open jar, triggering massive, unstoppable yeast fermentation. Real, pure, natural products are getting harder and harder to find now. Where are you watching from? And what does local raw honey cost in your city? Keeping a bone-dry spoon keeps the contents stable, thick, and highly potent. Never dip a spoon that you just used to stir your hot tea back into the jar for a second scoop. The residual heat and moisture will ruin the entire batch instantly. So, your jar is completely dry and safe from wild yeast fermentation. But even with a dry spoon and perfect water temperature, pairing this golden liquid with a specific morning breakfast means your stomach acid will completely neutralize it. Stirring raw honey into a steaming hot bowl of morning porridge feels like the ultimate healthy habit. It is not. First, the extreme heat of the freshly cooked oats instantly denatures the delicate enzymes, just like the boiling kettle did. But the mechanical digestion problem is actually much worse. Heavy, complex starches like oats take hours to break down. Your stomach becomes a slow, churning acid bath. The human stomach is incredibly harsh by design. Sitting at a highly acidic pH of around 1.5 to 3.5 is necessary to break down tough proteins. This environment is literally strong enough to dissolve small pieces of metal over time. Trapping the raw honey in that heavy, hot mass of porridge is a disaster. It exposes the fragile enzymes to those harsh acids for far too long. The acid completely dismantles the fragile antimicrobial peptides before they ever have a single chance to reach your small intestines. Your intestines are the specific location where the real biological absorption actually happens. Trapping the medicine in a thick lump of digesting starch guarantees destruction. The medicinal compounds are completely obliterated by the time they finally leave the stomach. Your body absorbs nothing but basic, simple sugars. The immune-supporting bouncers are dead long before they can enter your bloodstream to help your joints or clear your brain fog. Try this simple timing shift instead. Consume your honey on a completely empty stomach or stirred into lukewarm water exactly 20 minutes before you eat your heavy morning oats.
Liquids pass through the human stomach incredibly quickly. A glass of lukewarm water bypasses the stomach's harsh acid pool in less than 10 minutes. Slipping through the pyloric sphincter quickly and safely protects the living matrix. Reaching the intestines intact allows your body to fully absorb the defensin 1 and the natural antioxidants. Timing your morning drink perfectly saves the enzymes from stomach acid. But you must also ensure the product you bought hasn't already been destroyed before it even reached the supermarket shelf. The modern food industry actively works against your daily vitality. Standing in the supermarket aisle, you are surrounded by hundreds of plastic squeezy bottles claiming to be pure and natural. Do not be fooled. Most commercial squeezy honey in cheap plastic bottles has been violently flash pasteurized at extremely high temperatures. Factory managers do this strictly to make the thick liquid flow much faster through their massive industrial packing machines. Speed equals cheap profit. Heating it also artificially prevents the natural crystallization process. Keeping it looking perfectly clear and runny on the shelf for years tricks the buyer. Consumers falsely believe that clear, runny honey is higher quality than thick, cloudy, crystallized honey. It is the exact opposite. Flash pasteurization completely destroys the biological matrix before the bottle even leaves the factory floor. It is already loaded with heavy, liver-taxing hydroxymethylfurfural before you even put it in your shopping cart. You are buying dead, burnt syrup. Always look for labels that explicitly state raw and unpasteurized. The physical texture should be thick, opaque, and stubbornly crystallized. That stubborn thickness in cooler weather is the ultimate proof that the delicate enzymes are still alive and waiting to support your body. Do you feel cheated by the modern food industry, constantly pushing fake, ultra-processed syrups disguised as healthy choices? Tell me in the comments. By the way, do you store your raw honey in the cold fridge or out on the kitchen counter? Let's debate this harmless habit in the comments. Now that you know exactly how to protect this living matrix from heavy starches, wet spoons, boiling kettles, and factory deception, you are finally ready to unlock its full potential. Here is the exact 2-minute warm-only emulsion method. This is how you melt thick crystallized honey instantly without destroying a single delicate enzyme. First, boil your kettle normally. Pour the boiling water into your favorite ceramic mug. Put your standard tea bag in to steep. Now, walk away. Wait exactly 5 to 6 minutes. Do not touch the golden jar yet. After 5 minutes, return to the kitchen counter. Wrap both of your bare hands firmly around the ceramic mug. If the ceramic is too hot to hold comfortably, it is entirely too hot for the enzymes. That is the simple, unbreakable biological rule. When you can comfortably hold the mug without pulling your hands away, it is entirely too hot for the enzymes. That is the simple, unbreakable biological rule. This physical action creates a perfect emulsion. It turns the thick clump into a smooth, thin, pourable syrup. Now, pour this thin, emulsified syrup directly into your warm mug. It blends instantly and flawlessly. There is absolutely no clumping at the bottom. There are no destroyed dead enzymes. The drink is smooth, perfectly sweet, and biologically active. Respecting the warm-only rule stops you from immediately burdening your liver with heavy exhaust fumes. Keeping those microscopic bouncers alive and active protects your throat and supports your daily vitality. Your morning drink turns back into the potent natural protector it was always meant to be. Nature has already done all the incredibly hard work for us inside the hive. We just have to stop destroying it in our modern kitchens. Treat your food with absolute respect, and it will respect your body in return. If this topic interested you, you will absolutely love this one too. Stop throwing away onion skins. Roast them instead for the ultimate gut reset. This information is strictly educational to support your daily vitality. Never change your doctor's medical treatment without their consent. Thank you for your time today. Stay informed and take good care of your health.